You canceled my trip? I asked. You weren't invited anyway, my dad chuckled. So, I canceled their whole vacation, took back all the money, and left them stuck at home. I stood there, staring at my parents, shocked. My fingers shook as they gripped the kitchen counter, my knuckles going white. You canceled my trip, I said, my voice softer than I expected, but full of tension. My dad leaned back in his chair, smiling smugly like he had won some secret contest. You weren't meant to go there, he said, casually sipping his coffee like this was no big deal. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. My mom sat across from him, looking guilty, just like she always did when she went along with his plans but didn't want to take full blame. You spent my savings, I said, making each word clear. My mom sighed, rolling her eyes. Oh, stop being so dramatic, she said. It was just a vacation, we thought you'd understand. Understand? That was their excuse whenever they did something awful and expected me to stay quiet about it. I pulled out my phone and checked my bank app. Years of saving, gone. I had planned everything carefully, flights, hotels, activities. This trip was supposed to be my escape, my chance to finally take care of myself, but they selfishly spent it all. My teeth clenched. So, where are you going? My dad laughed, standing up and pushing his chair back. Somewhere fancy, he said. First-class flights, a luxury cruise, all of it. You wouldn't fit in, kid, it's not your style. My mom got up too, patting my arm like I was a little kid upset about a broken toy. Sweetheart, you'll get over it. That was the moment it hit me. I forced a smile and nodded like I was okay with it. You know what? You're right. They looked relieved, like they thought I was giving up, just like I always had, but they were wrong. Every booking was in my name, and they had no idea what was coming. I pulled out my phone and found the booking confirmation for their fancy trip. I showed it to them. Look at this, I said, your flights, your cruise, your vacation. My mom's face went stiff, her smile fading. My dad's grin shrank. I smirked. I should probably double-check everything. I opened the airline app and saw the first-class seats he was so proud of, non-refundable, but cancelable. With one tap, I canceled their flight. A red message popped up, your cancellation has been processed. My mom gasped, what are you doing? I ignored her and moved on to the cruise website. They had booked an expensive suite, prepaid for everything. I canceled it all, one by one, asking for refunds. My dad's face turned pale. You wouldn't dare, he said, his voice suddenly lacking confidence. I showed him my phone as I canceled the last booking. Too late. He lunged at me, trying to grab my phone, but I pulled it away just in time. Nope, I said, shaking my head. I do belong there because I paid for it, and since you booked everything using my name, I get to make the calls. My mom held her face in her hands. But what about us? We leave in a few hours, she cried. I shrugged. Guess you'll have to figure it out. My dad's face turned red. You ungrateful. Selfish? I laughed bitterly. Selfish is taking from your own child and expecting them to just accept it. His hands clenched into fists, his eyes burning with anger, but I wasn't done. I opened my banking app again and found the cruise payment. With one tap, I disputed the charge as fraud. My mom gasped again. No, no, no. Oh, and just so you know, I said, when you dispute a luxury cruise charge like that, they usually ban you from booking with them again. My dad's face went even redder. You little. I raised a finger to stop him. Careful, Dad, you don't want to say something you'll regret. He stood there, fists clenched, his body tense. My mom was frantically trying to call the airline. There has to be a way to fix this, she mumbled, panicking. Maybe, I said flatly, but you'll have to pay for it yourselves. She looked at me, desperate. We don't have the money for that. I crossed my arms. Then maybe you should have thought of that before you stole my savings. My dad stood there, stiff and angry. You ungrateful brat. I tilted my head. What was that, Dad? Say it louder, I want to hear this. He clenched his teeth but stayed silent. My mom was still trying to find a way to fix things, but it was too late. Their dream vacation was over before it even started. The only sound was my mom tapping her phone furiously. My dad was frozen in rage, turning redder by the second. You think this is funny? He finally spat, leaning on the counter. I folded my arms. Oh, yeah, watching you two scramble after trying to screw me over? Best thing I've seen in years. My mom's eyes were wide with panic. We just thought, she stammered. We never thought you'd react like this. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, and what did you expect? Thanks for stealing from me? It wasn't stealing, she said quickly, her hands shaking. It was borrowing. We were going to tell you later. I scoffed. Of course, right after you were lounging on a private balcony, sipping cocktails far away. Spare me. My dad took a sharp breath through his nose. You've always been selfish. he hissed. You hold on to your money like you're better than us. I laughed. Oh, you mean the money I worked for? The savings I built up while you two spent every penny without thinking? I shook my head. I've been paying for your bills for years, rent, groceries, fixing your car, and this? This was the last straw. My mom sniffled. We deserve this vacation. We haven't had a break in years. I stared at her in shock. And you think I have? When's the last time I went anywhere, Mom? Oh, that's right, never. I was too busy covering for you two. My dad slammed his fist on the table. You owe us, kid. Something inside me snapped. Owe you? I repeated, my voice cold. I did owe you respect, support, loyalty, until you threw all that away. Now, I owe you nothing. My mom slumped into a chair, looking like she was about to cry. My dad just stared at me, his face unreadable. I took a deep breath and turned to leave. Oh, and one last thing, I said, pausing. I reported every single transaction as fraud. That money's being returned to me. My mom gasped. My dad's nostrils flared. I smiled. Enjoy your trip, and I walked out. I thought my phone would start ringing right away, but it didn't. No frantic calls, no angry voicemails, just silence. At first, it felt weird, but soon, I realized they were panicking. They were probably calling airlines, cruise lines, banks, anyone who could undo what I'd done, but there was nothing to fix. I hadn't done anything wrong. I'd played by the rules. Every cancellation was legit, every refund request backed up with evidence of fraud. I hadn't tricked them, I'd just taken back what was mine, and they knew it. By the morning, my phone lit up with a message, Mom, we need to talk, call me. I smirked and ignored it. Then another message, Mom, please, we made a mistake, let's fix this, still ignored. Then came the anger, Dad, you spoiled brat, you're ruining everything, fix this now. I laughed quietly, blocked. I wasn't their personal ATM anymore, and they were starting to realize what that meant. By the afternoon, the calls and messages flooded in, hidden numbers, emails, even distant relatives. My mom tried everything. Mom, we understand you're upset, but we can talk this through. An hour later, Mom, this is childish. You can't just cut us off like this. Then my dad, Dad, do you think this is funny? You think canceling our trip makes you smart? You have no idea what you've done. I chuckled. Oh, I know exactly what I've done. For years, I'd been the reliable son, always cleaning up their mess, but not anymore. I sat back on the couch, reading through their desperate messages, enjoying every second, but I hadn't delivered the final blow yet. Getting my money back wasn't enough. They needed to feel the consequences. I checked the cruise company site one last time. As expected, their booking had been flagged due to the fraud charges. Not only was their vacation cancelled, but they were now banned from booking luxury trips in the future. I grinned. But I wasn't done. Since they'd used my name for the bookings, I had full access to the travel protection plan they'd bought. It covered cancellations, but only for the account holder, me. Without hesitation, I submitted the claim, attached the required proof, and moments later, I got an email saying my refund was processed. Not only did I get my money back, but I also got travel credits in my name. So, I did what anyone in my position would do. I booked my own dream vacation, first-class flights, 5-star hotels, exclusive experiences, everything they'd planned, but upgraded. I smiled and clicked confirm reservation. Just then, my phone rang. My mom's name flashed on the screen, one last attempt to manipulate me into undoing the damage. I let it ring, then turned my phone off. They could deal with the mess they made. I had my trip to prepare for. By morning, I had 37 missed calls, texts, and emails, all begging me to fix things. Mom, please, call me, we can fix this. Dad, you ungrateful disgrace, I can't believe you'd betray your own parents. And from an aunt I barely knew, Aunt Hazel, sweetie, your mom is heartbroken. She says you stole their money and abandoned them. This isn't like you, please call her. I ignored them all and carried on with my day, coffee, music, packing for my trip. At midday, the doorbell rang. I already knew who it was. I opened the door and saw my mom's tear-streaked face, her eyes red from crying. My dad stood behind her, arms crossed, furious. Lucas, my mom said, trying to smile through the tears, we need to talk. I stood in the doorway, calm and collected. Talk about what? I asked, my voice sharp. How you stole from me and now you're upset you got caught? Her face twisted with guilt. It wasn't theft, she said quickly. We really needed this trip. We've been under so much stress. I cut her off. I saved up for that trip. It was supposed to be mine. My dad scoffed. Oh, cry me a river. Life's not fair. Get over it. I smiled. Well, life's also about getting banned from luxury cruises for fraud. His face went pale. What the hell are you talking about? I folded my arms. Didn't check your emails? The cruise company flagged your booking. You're banned from booking high-end trips. My mom's face turned to horror as she checked her phone. My dad's nostrils flared. Watch yourself, I warned. You really don't want to say something you'll regret. His fists clenched, but he stayed silent. I smiled. As much as I'd love to keep talking, I've got packing to do. My mom's eyes widened. Packing? Yeah. I stretched out, feeling relaxed. Since the travel credit was in my name, I decided to book a vacation for myself, 5-star hotels, first-class flights. I even upgraded all the activities. I figured it was time to treat myself. My dad made a strange noise. You stole our trip, he shouted. Wrong, I said with a smile. I used my own money. You just tried to take it first. My mom looked like she might collapse. Lucas, please, she begged, her voice shaking. We can't afford to book another trip. That's your problem, I said, stepping back into my house and shutting the door in their faces. I stood there for a moment, listening to my mom whimpering and my dad cursing. They lingered outside for a minute, still complaining about how I ruined their vacation. I just shook my head and smirked. Let them be angry. I had my vacation to enjoy. When I got to the airport, I felt lighter than I had in years. While my parents were probably upset back home, I was breezing through first-class check-in, sipping a free drink, and checking my perfect itinerary. Then my phone vibrated. Mom, Lucas, please, we can't afford to rebook. We were counting on this trip. Just call me. I stared at the message for a moment, then turned off my phone. No more guilt, no more cleaning up their mess. The boarding announcement came on, and I smiled, grabbed my bag, and walked toward the gate. They had tried to take my dream vacation, but now I was taking it back. As soon as I sat in my plush first-class seat, I knew I had won. A flight attendant smiled and offered me a glass of champagne. I accepted, leaned back in my spacious seat, and watched as passengers in economy crammed into their small seats. This was what I had worked for. I looked out the window, imagining my parents at home, fuming with anger. They thought they could take what was mine without consequences, but they didn't know that when they stole from me, they crossed a line. I wasn't their doormat anymore. As the plane took off, I thought about the luxury resort waiting for me. It had everything they had planned for themselves, 5-star rooms, ocean views, and a world-class spa, but now it was mine. When I arrived at the resort, the staff greeted me by name and handed me a cold towel and a welcome drink. Mr. Reynolds, the concierge said, your suite is ready. We've also booked your private island excursion for tomorrow morning. Is there anything else I can add to your itinerary? I grinned. This was everything I'd dreamed of. Over the next few days, I lived the high life, enjoying everything my parents had planned, but better. I ordered the most expensive meals, scheduled extra spa treatments, and upgraded every excursion to VIP. The best part? My parents were stuck at home, angry and powerless. On the third day, I finally checked my phone. As expected, it was full of missed calls and desperate messages. Mom, you can't ignore us forever. We're still your parents. Dad, enjoy your little holiday. You spoiled brat. You'll regret this one day. Mom, again Lucas, please, we can talk when you get back. I snapped a photo of the beautiful ocean view and replied with a smile. Wish you were here. Oh, wait. Then I turned off my phone again. Let them sit with their choices. I had paradise to enjoy. By the end of my vacation, I felt more at peace than ever. I spent my days on pristine beaches, enjoying incredible food, and soaking in the views. Every moment felt like a win, not just because of the luxury, but because I had finally broken free from my parents' manipulation. When I packed my bags, I checked my phone one last time. More missed calls, more unread texts, but there was something different this time. No more shouting, no more demands, just silence from my dad, and a final message from my mom. Mom, Lucas, I don't even know what to say anymore. We only wanted something nice for ourselves. We never thought you'd actually do this. I hope that someday you'll understand. I understood perfectly. That was the problem. They would never admit they were wrong or apologize. And that's when I realized I hadn't just taken back my trip, I had taken back my life. On my flight home, I erased their messages, blocked their contacts, and leaned back in my seat, feeling pure satisfaction. They made their choice, and I made mine. I was done. For the first time ever, I was truly free.